Yato hasta tato drishti. Yato drishti tato manah. Yato manah tato bhava. Yato bhava tato rasah.
You met with so many prime ministers, presidents. Tell us about your experience with Indira Gandhi.
I would say that she liked arts and artists. It was in 75, emergency, that Yashpal Kapoor, I said, I'm sorry, I can't perform. He says, आपको पता है क्या होगा? मैंने कहा धमकी मत दीजिए. After that, I was completely blacked out.
Can you separate art from the artist?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. When you are on public platform and you are giving messages, then there is a certain responsibility.
Tell me about this incident about your stint at the Sangeet Natak Akademi.
I was replaced by Ramnivas Mirtha.
But you were actually sacked.
Yeah. I was Sangeet, I was Saffron. I went for Vivekananda centenary to Washington to dance. NDA appointed me. That was the biggest no.
That there was a witch hunt then too.
But for the first time, there was such cruel interference in the field of culture.
Namaste, Jai Hind. You're watching or listening to another edition of the ANI podcast with Smita Prakash. My guest today is Sonal Man Singh, one of the noted exponents of Indian classical dance. Sonal Man Singh has trained in the Bharatanatyam, Odissi, Chhau and Kuchipudi dance forms. She's a former Rajya Sabha member and the recipient of Padma Bhushan in 1992 and Padma Vibhushan in 2003. A totally self-made artist, Sonal Mansingh has interacted with some of the most powerful people in India, which include former prime ministers, presidents and artists. Sonal ji, धन्यवाद. आप स्टूडियो में आए. I am so grateful. It's been a dream come true to have you coming to our studios and speaking to us. So I'm most grateful and looking forward to this conversation.
I reciprocate gratitude, thanks and my delight.
Okay, so with Saraswati ji's blessings, let's start this conversation. You have led such a colourful life, for want of a better word. You have experienced, I guess, so much in a short span of time. So I wanted to know from you that at what time in your life did you feel that there is a divine reason that I am in this art form? I have been created, or I am one with God to perform in this manner, to be able to deliver on this art form?
Perhaps, the first time when I was 18 and a half, when I finished my BA, Elphinstone College, Bombay, and the usual family, my grandfather who had been governor of Mysore, and mother and father, and ab kya karna hai? So, various suggestions. And mother, of course, such big families are asking for your hand. Be a lawyer, you are brilliant. And somehow, after some no prior thought, what came out of it, I want to say from here. In Gujarati, it's my Matrubhasha, I'm a Gujarati. I said, Mare to dance aj karo hai. I want to dance only. And they said, yeah, but you dance, as you're doing, you're just only dance, not this, that, another. Nahi, biju kahin nahi. So, silence. 2 days off. And then I ran away from home.
Okay.
So I collected my German scholarship from the bank at that time, Went to Victoria Terminus Station, bought a ticket to Bangalore to my Bharatanatyam gurus. At that time you had to change train from Pune, and sit in a meter gauge. And I took that, I slept through, I went there, 8:30 at night, 9 o'clock at night, pedal rickshaw. They'd gone to see a movie, so the door was locked. When they came back, they said, who's that? And I said, Sonal, what are you doing here? And I said, sir, I ran away. That was that.
But I mean, it was a huge decision. You're talking about the
1963.
1963. Wow. I mean, at 18, I guess life would have been otherwise, married and go on that path, right?
Married or do MA or sit for the services
Services.
exam or take
Or
law.
politics, because you were from a political family also, right?
Yeah,
Your
but
father was
politics
a
was never
grandfather was a governor.
yeah, but never suggested. No, he was also, they were all in independence movement and
Huh.
all that. But yeah, no politics, but all the other options were given to me. And well, there I am. So that was one.
Huh.
And the second was when I met with that bad accident, very, very terrible, almost fatal, in Germany in 1974. And the doctors, German surgeons said never dance, maybe walk normally after 2 years. And then within 1 year, the chiropractor in Montreal put me on my dancing feet. And he said, you have done a miracle. You demanded from nature, and the nature gave you a new bone growing between 11th and the 13th vertebra, like a bridge. He said, I've never seen that. So then I was confirmed. I said, maybe
Yeah.
that's what Bhagwati wants me to do.
I was in school and I remember reading, I mean, this was pre Google times, right? So I remember reading about it in Reader's Digest.
Correct.
About one of those, life experiences. And I was thrilled that, an Indian has featured in Reader's Digest.
Yeah.
Because in those books, in those periodicals, it was only about somebody bear attack or somebody who's been kidnapped. You know what I mean? Like, but here was an accident, a deer, and all that, and oh, man, she's an Indian, and how she's recovered and all that. And of course, I was interested in the arts, so it was very interesting. But yeah, I mean, your life has been so inspiring for young artists to know that you have gone through these ups and downs. I'll get into various. Aspects of it, but being a journalist, I have to ask you, what was it like to be in the Rajya Sabha, in the thick of politics? Tell me that. We'll go backwards after the Rajya Sabha.
Whatever, you can go zigzag, like my book.
Okay, so you were sitting amidst all these politicians, noise, rude exchanges of words, sharp language used, something that is not in your sphere of activity, which is creative work. Did that shock you? Was that experience? How was that experience in Rajya Sabha?
Total experience was something that I would recommend to everyone. The majesty, the gravitas of the ambience. Then the close proximity of some big names, especially in the old Parliament building. The Central Hall was wonderful. One, made friends with across party line. And I remember 2019 or 20 was it, when the 370 article was voted out. And I said, I'm one of the 125 who voted for it. Heard a lot of people, heard prime minister's speeches. Politics later on, I think it became, in the new building, I found that somehow every 2 years there's a new in Rajya Sabha. Too much. And at that point, sometimes one felt a little, why? Say things in a way that is civil, that is well considered. People don't expect this kind of behavior from members of parliament. But then one also learned that streets sometimes come in the house.
Yes.
Streets come in the house.
Yes.
And one has to bear with it. One has to take it. And I always looked at the Prime Minister and others who sat like Buddha. Amazing. They were hathapais, and they were, throwing of papers, and even in the old house, climbing on the table. And
Yes. In Rajya Sabha. One doesn't expect that in Rajya Sabha.
yeah. And you remember that one telephone, what was that, P, from the P, that horrible thing, that everybody's being tapped.
Huh. Yeah, Pegasus.
And they came with a pink telephone and with the cable running, and they surrounded the table, where the officers sit and write. And I said, what is this going on? Is this a circus, a comedy, or... So a few things came as a shock to me. But then one learned to, deal with it. But also getting a chance to speak on various subjects, and people would say that we never expected an artist to, yeah,
Did they say that?
yeah. And
Wow.
it was so wonderful for me.
Huh.
Because nominated member, they don't expect this, that we've had, this, that, and other, and people hardly spoke. And here I was fully participating. My presence was noticed. I was regular. I was sitting through debates. I was listening. And sometimes I also, countered and all that. And my participation was much appreciated. So I thought that dumb dancer.
Did they actually think that you were that?
No, I said to myself that they didn't expect
Huh.
कि एक आर्टिस्ट भी इतना इंटरेस्ट ले सकता है, बोल सकता है,
हाँ.
and talk intelligently,
Uh-huh.
to the point, and giving a new perspective.
So Abhinay is not just with expression as in facial expression and hand gestures. It can also be through a verbal
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But then somehow or other, being a dancer,
They don't
there would
expect.
always be something, and they said, we always watch you. It's very interesting when you speak.
Because you're very expressive. Yes.
It happens,
It
no?
happens. Yes.
Kya
Yes.
karenge? You also, I'm sure,
Yes.
you've had to curb yourself, maybe.
Yes, it's a very difficult thing to keep a deadpan expression, I guess, because the training is to emote. So that comes out at every point of time. It's difficult. I think in the Natya Shastra they say that where the heart is, the eyes have to go, and where the eyes go, the hand has to go.
Yato hasta,
Huh.
tato drishti. Yato drishti, tato manaha. Yato manaha, tato bhava. Yato bhava, tato rasaha.
There. So you expressed it beautifully. That's true.
But I'm so happy to learn that you learned Bharatanatyam. You're a dancer.
So I think in South Indian families, no, that's
Yes,
something or the other, either
normal.
music or
It's
dance,
normal.
classical.
Absolutely.
So did you learn music too
Yes.
as a child?
I learned
Okay.
Hindustani music for 15 years,
Okay.
and then South Indian, of course, came with it, and the Odia system of music,
Okay.
about
Because,
which people know nothing.
huh,
It's a very different system.
huh,
And Odisha is between south and north.
huh.
And it is a very, very old system.
Okay.
And like the Odia script,
Huh.
it's round. The gamakas and all that is round. Not staccato like in Carnatic music.
Huh.
And the ragas are different.
Okay.
And they'll go back to Sangeet Ratnakar.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you learned the Orissa form of music when you learned
Right.
Odissi
Right.
dance
Right.
form,
Right.
or you did at
Yes.
that time?
And the Carnatic music, of course.
Did you have to unlearn from the Karnataka and Hindustani forms to learn the Orissa form?
No. It added.
It added.
It
Okay.
added richness and understanding.
Okay.
There's a context.
So, did it? One would think that Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi are somewhat similar. Did Odissi dance form? Did you have to make a lot of changes in your abhang in that when you do that
Yeah.
tribhang? Sorry, because the body moves in that three-dimensional form, right, or a three-bend form,
Three pen.
as compared to Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi, which doesn't. So, can you explain to most of our viewers and listeners how that works?
That's very interesting. How the same body, can take on different shapes and forms, and the technique can take you to a different perspective. So, Abhanga, First is Samabhanga, Abhanga. Abhanga is a slight flexion to one side from the hip. Tribhanga from the neck and the waist and the hip. And it's so graceful. Speciality of Odissi is a independent work of torso. The torso just, not hip. And that gives it
Lachak.
lachak, lyricality, grace. And when you show taranga,
The wave movement. Okay.
I would say that Bharatanatyam also has Tribhanga. You look at all the sculptures in
Yes.
South Indian temples.
Huh.
Then why was it cut out? Now these dancers are coming back, the young
Yeah.
dancers are bringing it back.
Yeah, when you look at the sculptures, when they have the mridang, the pakhavaj, or whatever you want to call it, it is in a tribhang form. When she's holding it, the idols are holding it, or the sculptures holding it. You can't sit, right? It has to have that slight shoulder flex.
Wait, when you play,
Yeah.
it's automatic.
Huh.
No,
Yeah.
that's a dholak or whatever. But
Yeah.
it automatically happens. And
Huh.
the emphasis of the arms and hands, thap, it comes with that.
Is Odissi similar to Manipuri art?
Yo,
dance
no,
form?
no, not at all.
Really?
Not at all. Odissi and Bharatanatyam, I would say, are the oldest Shastriya dance forms. And I see them as complementing each other because I've learned both.
Both, huh?
Where Bharatanatyam has a larger, framework
Huh.
within that. Odissi is filigree.
Huh.
But you see the choke of Odissi, my God, you won't be able to do it. A
Yeah.
deep choke.
Yeah.
Here is Aramandi of Bharatanatyam.
Huh.
And the Tribhanga of Odissi and the torso movement, Vaksha Chalan.
Huh.
And where you say, Yahi Madhava, go away.
Yahi Madhava, Yahi Keshava. Huh.
And you say, Yani, there's a delicacy.
Huh.
And I find that so enlightening that my same body could do both. And when President R. Venkatraman saw that, Dvivarna, 4 bars of Alaripu, 4 bars of Mangalacharan, 4 bars of this, 4 bars of that, Varnam, Sabhinay Pallavi. He says, what is this? 4 musicians here, 4 musicians there, pata, and the same body, the body intelligence, how it could change like that. And nobody, your Odissi is perfect Odissi, your Bharatanatyam is perfect Bharatanatyam.
Yes. I must have been 8 or 12 when I first saw you perform. And I couldn't tell the difference that you had learnt in like Bharatanatyam form because your Odissi was so perfect. So usually those who have learnt Bharatanatyam are so within a framework.
But you never saw my Bharatanatyam.
No, I haven't. I've only seen you perform Odissi. I've seen videos, but I've never seen you perform Bharatanatyam on stage. On stage, I've only seen...
because you're a much later entrant.
That's true. By then, you had become so famous in the Odissi style. And there were just 2, Sanjukta Panigrahi and you.
Correct.
Just 2 of you.
Correct.
And there was Shobna Narayan as far as Kathak is concerned. Of course, Bharatanatyam, there were many. At that time, there was Yamini Krishnamurti also. And so many, that I've seen. But let me now rewind because I'm sure my viewers and listeners are saying, "Tum idhar se udhar jump kar rahi ho, ek sequence mein baat karo." So let me talk to you about that period when you ran away from home and you landed up at your guru's residence and said that I want to learn the art form.
No,
right?
I had already learned.
You had already performed.
61 Arangetram was done. 63 after BA, I ran away.
So what gave you the confidence that this was a career path?
No, I never thought of it as that. That's the whole beauty. I'm telling you that my innocence became very famous. I just wanted to dance. I could think of nothing else. And I was reading Gita Govinda, and I was reading up, and I was reading up, and I was reading Nietzsche, and I was reading Anais Nin also, side by side. And I was, Ulanova and Marco Fontaine and this and that and all. And here was this gorgeous Bharatanatyam, and my body just blossomed. I felt the happiest when I was dancing. So what else could I do?
So you land up and then you start learning again or
Further,
relearning
further.
right? And at what stage did you feel that I need to learn more than just Bharatanatyam? I need to learn another dance form.
Oh, that's another story. That has something to do with my first marriage.
Lalit Man Singh.
Yes. So he was in Geneva. He couldn't come back for the engagement. But his father wrote to my father, and my father said, "What is this now?" And my grandfather said, "Let her be. Let her do what she wants."
Which is to marry him.
Yeah, but you have to. They wanted to have engagement, and they were inviting us there.
To Odisha.
Katak.
Katak.
My father opened the atlas. He said at that time, 1965, how do we go? So I think we went to Calcutta then, and then took a train. And there was much excitement all around. And I was engaged to the family sword. They were Khandayats. Khandayat yani Rajput.
Okay.
Odisha. And then my father-in-law, Dr. Man Singh, a very highly respected poet, educationist, and he said to my father, leave her with us, we want to get to know her, let her... My father happily left.
Okay. Quite innocent.
Hey, 1965, can you think about it? And I stayed back, and we dropped him at the airport, Bhubaneswar. There was a hopping flight, something, every twice or thrice a week. And my father-in-law said, "Okay, get ready. I'm taking you to..." So we went, Kala Vikash Kendra. And they all came and fell at his feet and all, Kelu Babu and other teachers also. But he pointed a stick at Guru Kelucharan Mohapatra and said, "Kelu, e hochi mo bau Sonal. Tume taku Odissi sikhaibo." It was an order. This is my bahu.
Daughter-in-law.
You will teach her Odissi. That was that. Straight away started.
With Kelu Baba.
With Kelu Babu. And because it's a trained body and an eager mind, I drink dance, I could learn Mangalacharan and Batu. Then I went abroad to get married because he couldn't come again, no leave.
Where was he posted?
Geneva.
Okay.
And with my Bharatanatyam and Odissi, little bit of that, I was touring all around. I remember the Luxembourg, India Friendship Society was just opened in Luxembourg. Pandit Ravi Shankar was there at the inauguration on first day. I was going to dance on the second day on recorded music. And Mani Shankar Iyer was then he was Lalit's batchmate. So he was there. And so when there were, all these encores, I said, see? I said, watch me tomorrow. He still quotes it. And the next day, of course, he was running my, the big tape recorder. You had to run that. Grundig. I got equal number of encores. Afterwards, said, I told you, see, watch me.
Okay.
So that was 2 years of Europe, where I danced almost all over Europe. And then we came back, he was posted back to Delhi. And then I stayed on in Delhi. Much more than Bombay. I've lived in Delhi.
But then you didn't, in your biographies, in your people who have written about you, say that you felt stifled in that traditional form of being an IFS officer's wife and going from posting to posting. You needed to explore your art form, which probably that life wouldn't have offered you.
I was already dancing everywhere. And when in 71 he was posted to Kabul, I did go. I used to go back and forth because I had my dance. And I was being sort of all over India and abroad. I went to Osaka Expo 70 and on delegations and all that. But a couple of things happened, and then, it was not all that,
Not to be.
no, not very happy situation. So, mutual consent. Tum bhi sukhi, main bhi sukhi. And I wanted nothing. No settlement, no nothing of any sort. So that was that.
That was also in the 70s, a divorce of an artist was quite talked about, wasn't it? Did it at that time bother you that people are talking about this?
Not really, but Guruji, Guru Kelucharan Mohapatra sort of shunning me.
That was an
That
unpleasant
was
experience for you,
that
right?
was very, very sad experience. Later on, he realized. He came home much later. I did his Pada Puja and all that. Yeah. And then, also the wives saying, be careful, huh? Be careful of her. And I used to laugh. I said, I'm not bothered about anyone.
Like you're a predator or something.
Yeah, I'm not. These men don't interest me at all. How to tell their wives? They'll be so offended.
But tell me about that experience. Why do you think Kelucharan Mahapatra did not accept you when you were such a great Shishya?
Because of this. That you have done this, you're no longer. And he just kicked me out, literally kicked me out.
That experience, you fell at his feet. Tell me about that.
Kya? Oh, Smita. Yeah, I'd heard that he was very unhappy and all, and come to Delhi, J.C. Mathur's house, and Kumkum's daughter was my friend, and she said, Guruji has come, you come and meet him. And he was making pan seated on a baithak. And as usual, we always put our head
On the
at
feet.
the feet. And he kicked me on my head and turned away and called me names. I was so stunned, I had fallen back and I started crying and saying something. He just said, get out. So I went crying to Jeevan Pani, Oriya poet, scholar, whom Kamala Devi ji had brought on deputation to Sangeet Natak Akademi. And he said, don't worry, Guruji ka laat bhi आशीर्वाद हो जाएगा. And you'll grow. And true to those words, I grew. And much later, in Madras, it was not Chennai yet, people called me Rukmini Devi of Odissi. So...
Yeah. But,
but one second.
go ahead.
I often feel, and I tell also people, students and all, that I have taken Guruji's Jhapad also. After our Padma Bhushan Konark's festival. They were all sleeping at 2:30 in the night. I was seated on the ledge of the green room window, and he came and said, he gave me one Jhapad and said in Odia, have you come here to sleep? And there are 50 people sleeping there at 2:30 in the night. And I just stood quiet. And I often say that today,
Yeah.
of course, I give a nice takak at the back. Stand straight.
Stand straight.
Or whatever.
Huh.
Nobody will take this.
Yeah.
Nobody. But
Is this good or bad that nobody will take it anymore?
no, it's good, bad, I don't know. I think that there has to be discipline. This went much beyond discipline.
Yeah.
But my discipline as a Shishya, no argument, no protest, you can cry, you can hold your heart, but not a word.
I am conflicted on this if you honestly ask me. It made you it made you a greater artist, no doubt, because trauma is part of an artist's life. Without experiencing trauma, you can't emote certain degree of emotion. I feel, वो चाहिए. And if you're born in a privileged home, you don't experience hunger. You don't experience that level of trauma. So somewhere that trauma helps. But at the same time, I feel the whole Guru Shishya thing led to a lot of exploitation also. And a lot of
That
temperamental gurus.
no exploitation. Then that brings to my mind what certain dancers have been saying: sexual exploitation.
Okay, there are various levels. No.
but this is, I would say, it's not exploitation to me. It is a kind of a mizaj, temperament, and a kind of adhikar. You know, that you have that satta, that right over your students. Well, guru, if you say guru and teacher, difference. There's a big difference. Guru may be wrong. Guru is not always right. But it's not for Shishya to point out that you are wrong. It is for the Guru to realize which she or he does. That I can say from my experiences. The realization comes. And then there is so much, they're so contrite, they are so ashamed. And they shower you with blessings. And they even say कि बहुत बड़ी भूल हो गई, मुझे माफ करो. And what can the students say? Who am I to माफ करो? भगवान माफ करेगा. But that you had that realization to say that. That realization is very important.
Okay. In Guru-Shishya Parampara, are the Guru playing favorites more often than not, encouraging only their daughter to become the next dancer, or encouraging their son to become the next dancer? I won't even go into the gharanas and the music side. I'm only concentrating today on Nritya. Do you not see that happening? Did you not experience that?
No, I didn't, fortunately.
Because your gurus didn't have daughters, I guess. But otherwise.
They had two sons. No, I think they were very enlightened. Professor U.S. Krishna Rao was chemistry professor, big cricketer. His wife came from a literary family from North York, Udupi, Mangalore side.
Yes.
And they were very different. They were very, very different. In their home, I met painters, writers, musicians, dancers, scholars, poets, and normal people also. Indrani Rahman had learned from them also. And Ram
Sanjutta
Gopal.
Panigrahi? No.
No.
Mrinalini Sarabhai? No.
No. Mrinalini's guru was different. But my guru, my guru, dono, Guru Patni, their guru was common. Rukmini Devi came much later.
Oh, okay.
So Ram Gopal, Krishna Rao sir and Chandabhaga Devi, they went together to Pandanallur to learn from Tata, the great Meenakshi Sundaram Pillai.
Pillai, okay.
And later then they shifted.
So none of them are from the Kalakshetra?
No, Kalakshetra is much later.
Okay.
Much later. And ours is Pandanallur style, the original. Kalakshetra mein kafi mix up ho gaya.
Okay. People in Kalakshetra would have a different view on that. What about Bala Saraswati? Have you seen her perform?
Absolutely.
Wow.
The first time in 1962, she went via Bombay to America, her first visit there. And Bharati Vidya Bhavan, I just sat.
Wow.
Mantra Mugdha. Tall, broad-shouldered, nothing, no attribute that comes, lotus petal eyes, kuch nahi. But what? I have no words. And later on also when I saw her, and my greatest joy was when I performed for the first time after recovering from accident. In 1975, I danced all over India and in Madras. She specially sent message that I'm coming to see her.
Okay.
And she came, and unfortunately no photographs.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
But her, no, Bala Saraswati, I think, is unique in the world. And at that time, they used to say there were three great ballerinas. There was Bala Saraswati, there was Margot Fontaine, and there was Maya Plisitskaya.
Okay.
Or Galina Ulanova, one of them, the Russian.
Huh.
So that's Bala Saraswati.
Okay.
There's this Bejod. There's no parallel. Extraordinary.
Okay. When you went to Kelucharan Mohapatra to learn Odissi, did he, when he was training you, did he say, no, this is Bharatanatyam. You have to stop doing it like this. You have to stop expressing like this. You have to stop moving your hands like this.
No. Because I'm a very diligent disciple.
Okay.
I'm very diligent. I'm very disciplined.
Huh.
And as I said, I drink dance.
Sponge, okay.
I'm a sponge, yeah. I'm a sponge. You know the three categories. The stone and the chalni ko kya kehte hain? Sieve and the sponge. So Krishna Rao sir used to say, you have to choose what you want to be. Stone, water just flowed. Vidya just... chalni, the sieve, something remained, other... Sponge, absorb. And then when the moment comes...
Nichodo. Okay. So, when you were learning these two forms, did you at any point of time, when did you think that this is a career that can come from this? Because it doesn't pay much. For an artist, very few artists can eke out a living or could eke out a living in the 70s and 80s with art.
So I sent, I sold some of my little trinkets also. I used to borrow and then pay back 1,000 karke. No, I never.
For what?
No, but hello.
What were you selling and buying? Why? To pay fees?
To pay musicians.
For your performances?
But
everybody thinks you're very wealthy, so it's hard to imagine.
Even today, I don't own any property. I have no house. I've shifted back in some rented apartment again. But with my whatever performance monies, I built the Center for Indian Classical Dances. It's a registered society, 47th year now.
Yeah.
It's not mine.
So it was hard to perform when you were doing, to get the musicians to travel with you?
No, musicians were one. I had a team. You know, it's not like today that there's a pool of musicians and you just pick whoever is available. No.
Then?
I had my own team.
Okay.
They came every day. Wherever I shifted for 5 years, I was homeless in Delhi. Nobody knows. I think it's in that book. But they would land up wherever I was, in my small bedroom or in the veranda or in the garden or in the lawn or wherever in the basement. Rehearsals had to go on. So I had 4 musicians for Bharatanatyam and later on 4 for Odissi. And we worked every single day. So that's how my performances went. And everyone said so many new things, yeah.
Okay, so when all these dancers were performing, there was somebody or the other. There was an aunt, there was a mother, there was a husband who was singing, or there was a manager. Everybody from Vaijayanti Mala to Hema Malini to whoever I can think of, they all had somebody or the other. Who was your support? The Lord above. Or the goddess above?
Goddess.
Who's your Ishta Devta?
My Ishta is Kamakhya Devi.
Kamakhya.
वैसे तो they are all. I love Krishna, I love Radha, I love Shiva, I love Parvati, I love everyone. Because it's such a beautiful world of mesmerizing beauty, divinity. But abhi Kamakhya ji has taken hold of me.
So you didn't find the need to rely on or to lean on a family member to help you with your travels, with your art form, to take it forward? No.
Family member.
A sister, a brother, anybody?
No, they're all happily married, settled, and in Bombay.
It was your life you were leading.
Yeah, I've been totally out of the pale. They love me very much. But then that's that.
Okay.
And also, I'll tell you something, a secret. No longer a secret after your podcast. That being in public domain, I really value my independence, my time, my space, my privacy. I need time. I can't have people all around me. I've traveled alone. Musicians are there, but I do my own thing. I wind up, I pack up, I unpack, I iron my clothes, costumes. I've lived like that.
Quite a free soul.
Yeah. And discipline. I don't want all the time. It gives me headache.
Okay. Tell me about your second marriage. How did you meet your husband?
Oh, in
to
Delhi,
be-
of course. Delhi is the happening place.
How much time between the first marriage and second marriage? You learned German, right? Or something at
That
that
was at
stage?
university in
At
Bombay.
university.
Yeah.
Mm. Was that
Well,
what drew you to your second husband?
no. He was drawn to me.
Correction. Okay. Yes, as two feminists, we should say that.
But that's what happened. I'm sorry.
He came for your performance?
No. He sought me out the Munich Olympics, 1972.
Huh.
And he had to make certain images of India and all that. Somebody said, for dance to take her. So I was invited, and Kelucharan was staying with me those days. This was before.
Rapprochement has happened. Or not yet?
No. This
He's
was
still-
before the separation from Lalit Mansingh became known.
Okay.
So I went, there was nothing, and took pictures. And later on, I think slowly, I grew on him. And this is something people have said, that you grow on people. मैं क्या करूं? I live in my own. And so then it happened. And
Were you wary for committing yourself to a second relationship at that stage?
No.
No. Because with a foreigner, your art form, whether he would understand your desire to keep performing. To do that.
He loved it.
Okay.
In fact, he helped quite a lot in organizing European tours while we were together. We got married finally in Montreal in 1975 after I recovered. And then again separated when he was posted out to South Korea. I was, as usual, Delhi, India-based, going and coming to Montreal.
Is it hard for an artist to encapsulate yourself in these traditional roles of a wife, a mother, a daughter, sister, and still be as free and pursue your art form?
I don't know. I think there are dancers who have children and who are dancing and who are wonderful. Sanjukta had 2 boys. They say, how many children do you have? I said, I don't know, I haven't counted. All my disciples are like my children.
And still you express Vatsalya without having become biologically a mother. Your Vatsalya Bhava is amazing.
But much more than the biological mothers. They love me and they confide in me and they do all that. And I just love. And then I can say, okay, ho gaya, jao.
In the years that you were performing in India, in the festivals, India Festival that used to happen, Festival of India, you used to represent in ICCR tours and all those tours and things like that. You met with so many prime ministers, presidents. Tell us about your experience with Indira Gandhi, Pupul Jayakar, people who you would have met so often. Like, not many people talk about their association or their interaction with Indira Gandhi and with Pupul Jayakar. Tell me about that.
Yeah, Indira Gandhi, I would say that she liked arts and artists. And as Foreign Service officer's wife and a dancer, she took me along on a cultural delegation to Afghanistan in 1969.
Oh, wow.
Then again in 1974 to Iran, Tehran. And in between also, And she used to have people, poets and all coming in. So Muhammad Yunus would call and say, ये सब आ रहा है, come on, you come. And security, what security? You just walked in. It was in 75, emergency, that Yashpal Kapoor, I said, I'm sorry, I can't perform. And he said, we'll send you special plane at performances in Bangalore lined up. I said, I'm very sorry, I don't agree with this. The 20 Sutri program and the emergency and sing praises. I said, I'm sorry. He says, आपको पता है क्या होगा? मैंने कहा धमकी मत दीजिए. What was my age then? But I've always had this kind of a thing that if anyone tries to intimidate me, I'm sorry. I'm not for it. I won't take it. And that has, of course, made people say, she's arrogant, Sonal is arrogant, Sonal. Yeah, I'm all that. Sorry. Thank you. So after that, I was completely blacked out, no? From
You faced
everything.
a blackout during the years during emergency.
Yeah.
She.
Yeah. No, she,
because
of course, but
did you think she knew about what they were doing behind her back, or was it her orders? You don't know.
I suppose she knew, of course.
If
she
Yashpal
knew.
Kapoor called you, R.K. Dhawan
No, Yashpal was in charge of
of art and
whatever performances and jamborees they were organizing. And
so they
lot of
wanted you to do what? Choreograph?
no,
something?
perform.
Where?
In various places.
Oh.
And even today's best known names in music and dance, they all agreed. I was the only one who said no. Performing arts, I'm talking. So no Padma Award. Our friends Sanjukta, Uma Sharma, Padma Ji, they all got Padma Shris.
Yeah.
And then much later, younger ones also. Then the President Venkatraman sent for it, for me. Because Gopal Gandhi told him that Sonal hasn't got any Padma Award yet. And that was how, 1991, he said, come and meet me.
This is after Rajiv Gandhi had been assassinated.
That
after
was
that.
it, yeah. This was 1991.
1991,
So 92,
So-
I got my
Your first Padma Award.
Padma Bhushan.
Padma
He said
Bhushan.
only Padma Bhushan, not Padma Shri. Narasimha Rao was then Prime Minister.
Prime Minister at that time. Okay.
And but as Sushri Sonal Man Singh, I was dancing happily. And sometimes I said, it sounds like Sasuri. Sorry. Another thing is I love
But you
to
were
laugh.
doing choreographing also, right? It wasn't just, and you were experimenting. There was fusion, but no confusion. There was fusion within the limits of classical dance at that stage. In spite of that, there was no recognition, you feel, or the recognition was pulled out during the emergency years.
Yeah, of course it was pulled out when you sort of challenge and says, no, I won't be a part of that. How dare you? I mean, you remember how things happened. I mean, I wasn't pushed into jail, of course not. But to be blacked out from television, from radio, from government programs, festivals, newspapers, Padma Award, accommodation, lot of dancers and musicians got accommodation,
Yeah.
And I was homeless in Delhi. So
Yes, the D1, D2 flats and things like that in Lutyens, Delhi was given to artists.
lot of artists.
But you did not get.
And
at
later
that time.
on in Asiad Village also.
Asian Games Village.
Yeah, but I thank my stars and thank my, what shall I say, saburi, my strength, atmabal, what you call atmabal. I'm not going to beg. I'm only going to pray, but no begging of any human being. क्या होता है? नहीं करना है. नहीं है तो नहीं है, ठीक है. But then after all, I got the Lutyens 11 Janpat bungalow as MP.
Yeah, but then, yeah, I'm not saying too little too late because that would be judgmental on my part. But what I'm saying is that these things happen in politics, I guess. What was your reaction when you heard about this whole T.M. Krishna getting the Subhalakshmi award? Do you have a take on that? That's also politics and art interlinking.
Yes, I do think that was not right.
Why?
Again, I'm not being judgmental, but personally, I think that whatever TM Krishna has been doing is his baby. But it doesn't sit well with me or with so many other people. And then to be given deliberately to spite, as if MS Subhalakshmi Award.
Okay.
You give some other award, I have nothing, but MS Subhalakshmi Award. And his grandson also, her grandson, went to court. I think it was very, shouldn't happen. We have to have some respect.
Huh.
We have to have some respect for values, for tradition, for the beauty of the art that has been coming to us. You do what you want. You change it, you twist it, you introduce whatever elements. That's, kya? Self, what do we say?
Expression or whatever.
Expression.
Yeah. Huh.
But don't play with certain things. And there are certain things which are perennial. Values. I don't think we need to demean them.
What are those dairas? Like, for example, people have objection to an M.F. Hussain painting a Durga with the top part of her body not covered. There was a time I remember when Malika Sarabhai came on stage wearing a Bharatanatyam outfit without the pallu. I was a child at that time. I remember that being as something bold. Or a Pratima Bedi doing Odissi in a without
Or running on the beach.
so where are the running on the beach was a private one, but while performing the art form, maybe not wear the palla. That was scandalous at that time.
At that.
Right? What she did in her private life, marrying, remarrying,
No. I'm
whatever.
not talking about
Yeah,
that.
but what are the dairas that you cross and it becomes too much? Where did Mr. Krishna go wrong in that daira?
Again, going wrong is judgmental.
Huh, hai na?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying MS Subhalakshmi.
Okay.
Who's she? Respect for her. Respect for her values and tradition which she represented. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
He can do what he likes. This is music. But here is MS Subhalakshmi.
Okay, because she's traditional,
Traditional in every way,
in every way.
and her
Okay.
music represented something. It was not kind of a very light kind of a music. It was something that made people cry. There was something divine. She was all the time engaged in sort of representing some divine energy. Like, we do. Why play with it? Why play with her name? Award could be for any other name. No problem.
Can you separate art from the artist? Is it possible? Like when we were talking about Pratima Bedi, I mean, her dance was fabulous, but there was her personal life. There's Mrinalini, who also is a great dancer, but there's her politics. Can you separate art from an artist's personal life?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Huh.
When it begins to reflect on the art, because art, when you are on public platform and you are giving messages, then there is a certain responsibility. That's how I look at it. I mean, I'm also married twice and all that, but that hasn't, I think, affected my art, what people see on stage. There is no kind of cheapness or kind of a thing. I don't know, I have no words for it, but you understand what I'm
Yes,
trying
absolutely.
to say.
There's not even a dilution. Forget about cheapness. That वो तो
Dilution.
अलग ही level है.
Dilution.
Huh.
Yeah, thank you. So, but sometimes it affects in such a way that the art takes back seat. And the colors of personal life, they are seen in a much, much brighter way than necessary. Then people get confused. Right?
Yeah. I agree with you on that totally. That somewhere you have to, I guess, it does affect if you. But does one need to lead a compartmentalized life then? कि जब मैं आर्ट करूं तो मैं उस लाइफ को अलग रखूं.
Some people do, some artists do that.
Can you do it?
No, no, darling, thank you. How to do it? I don't know. How to do it?
Okay.
Because it's not a shawl or it's not a sari that you just take off and you again wear it and you come on stage and then you again take off and then.
What inspires you? What has inspired you all your life? Is it nature? Is it music? Is it what inspires you on a daily basis to do something creative even now?
Life. 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 What is life? To be alive. To experience. And thank God. Gratitude. I have two eyes that see. Observe. Perceive. I have two ears to hear. My breath comes and goes. I can speak, I can sing. I have a mind that's working, that's absorbing. A body that's working. What more do I want? I'm free. But I can bring all that in, make it mine, and then again give it as my expression. How beautiful is that?
How much of yourself do you give to your audience when you're on stage?
I don't hold back.
Okay.
But that's not to say I jump around and leap around. No.
But
No,
you've
no.
learned chow. In chow, करना पड़ता है ना? Jumping and because there are animistic movements in that, right? Derived from jungle, if I'm not mistaken. But correct me
There are
if I'm
two.
wrong.
One is a warrior,
Huh.
and one is the observation of birds and animals and water and hawa. And but that chow with my Odissi sits beautifully. Because I used to think Odissi is all very beautiful, very lyrical. Where is the Tandav? And in Mayurbhanj Chow of Odisha, it does not use the mask. I found that. So I learned. I was the first woman to learn Chow. And in 1974, before my accident in Germany, I had given a performance in Ashoka Convention Hall, which used to be the place. And now the Chow has taken over, you know.
Chow is very energetic and in
This
spite
one,
of,
yeah. All three, actually. No, two. The Purulia Chow with his mask, Bengal. The Mayurbhanj Chow. But Mayurbhanj Chow also has Kalibhanga, which is the beautiful hip movements, the very graceful movements.
Okay.
A little portion of that. And the Saraikela Chow from Jharkhand is very soft.
Okay.
Mask also, but very delicate. Chow, there are three chows.
Okay, I didn't know that. I've only seen one in which I found like birds, animals, warrior, and you know.
But no mask.
But no mask.
That's the Mayurbhanj, Odisha.
Mayurbhanj. Okay. And I found that very fascinating, that style. Even the music was very energizing kind of music.
But you know what is so beautiful, and I really lament that era passing away. Royal family princes used to dance.
Oh, I thought they only gave patronage. They didn't.
No, they
perform.
danced, they learned.
Okay.
Saraikela, but Mayurbhanj is one of the 5 largest native princes, kingdoms in India. Mayurbhanj.
Okay.
And they all danced. Saraikela, princes danced.
You know, we were talking about Indira Gandhi. I also asked you about Pupul Jayakar. Did you interact with her?
Yeah. Pupul was the daughter of the family that lived just across from us in Bombay. So her mother, Iravati Ben, and her father we didn't see because he passed away. ICS, you know. And Pupul, Nandini, all these sisters. Pupul Ben was very, of course, arty. And I must say that exquisite taste.
In sarees or in everything in life?
Life, I don't know.
Huh.
Saris, definitely.
Huh.
And very picky.
Huh.
And of course, Indira Gandhi relied on her totally.
Yeah, what was that relationship? Lots of people talk about how close they were.
Yeah.
Was she the? Was she like a sister to Indira Gandhi? What was that?
No, no, no. I
No.
mean,
Indira Gandhi was a very quiet kind of a person, right? She didn't trust many people. They say that she was very to herself.
I didn't know her that closely, but Pupul Jayakar was very close as a friend, as a companion, as an advisor. By the way, you remember Deena Ratna Pathak's mother?
Dina Pathak.
Deena Gandhi, she used to be.
Okay.
Maiden name.
Huh.
Her elder sister Shanta Gandhi,
Huh.
who was also NSD principal at one time,
Okay.
director.
Huh.
Itna bada tika and uneven, heavy, khadi sari,
Huh.
chain smoker.
Huh.
And she used to say, Indu, ah, yeah, come, like that.
Huh.
Indira Gandhi.
Okay.
And they had been together in London, some room or wherever.
Huh.
Indira Gandhi had those kind of couple of people also
Okay.
who could,
Huh.
be very
Friends.
frank, tell her off.
Sheila Dhar, I remember another name that people used to talk about. She was an author and she was in government service. They said that she also, but again, emergency created rift between Indira Gandhi and many of her friends and artists who got a lot of patronage before that. Because, see, after the royal families ceased to exist, the patronage had to come from Government of India.
It has to.
Yeah. And then there were these government organizations which were formed like Indian Council of Cultural Relations, Sangeet Natak Akademi, and then there were some business houses like Bharti Kala Kendra, the Shriram Bhartiya families. These were patronizing the arts to certain extent. Do you feel that the industrialists of today are holding back in promoting classical music and dance?
Yes. I mean, if Ambani's have built a center now, or Tata has NCPA in Bombay, in South also there are maybe some. But the general trend is to patronize sports, things that give you immediate recognition, name, and moolah. Arts are not meant for all that. Arts have a totally different role to play. And we seem to be forgetting that. Arts, what is culture? Is to refine. Culture means refinement. You culture gold. You culture something that you clean it up. The dross falls away. That's the word means. And that's why life's refinement comes from these arts.
When you meet with young children today, do you feel that they're not interested as much as, say, maybe you were, or even 20 years ago when students came to you कि आपसे सीखना है? Do you feel that today's generation is too distracted to learn?
We didn't have television, we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have this, we didn't have that, we didn't have social media, thumbs up and thumbs down.
Emojis.
Huh? So, there was no question of distraction. The thing now is there are too many things. But there are wonderful dancers, wonderful young people, and I think it's also a wave, Now the wave is coming up. Again, young people are getting interested to know India, Bharat.
Huh.
Huh? You agree?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
But what about the discipline that is needed to become a classical dancer? Like, do the gurus have to adapt to the new ways?
I don't. Others do. Maybe they do. Because my goal is not to, I still teach in Guru-Shishya Parampara. None of my gurus ever gave me a certificate, a medal, sent me to competition. Nothing. I have nothing to show for it except myself. And I don't give either in my institution.
No degrees.
No degree, no piece of paper, nothing. You learn 14 years, 18 years, 10 years, 12 years, 5 years. You take something. I don't want anything. You take something. And this has come to me in the Guru-Shishya Parampara. I let it flow to you.
फिर आप जब डांटते हो किसी को बच्चे को, if you tell her like you were saying, keep your back rammed out, you'll notice I never sit with leaning back.
I'm leaning
I
back.
can't. No, ma'am, I'm not like that. But what I'm saying is, I've learnt to sit on my tailbone.
Yeah.
I can't.
But if I do, I'll...
Yeah, yes, of course. So, what I'm saying is, if you were to tell a young girl today of 12 or 13, or a boy for that matter of 12 or 13, with your stick, just and say, don't, sit straight or something, because the tendency is to slouch, right? So, how do they react? Are they the same way that you reacted? Sipped?
Yeah. Because it's not beating. It's just poke. Or with my hand, thap. Come on, straight. Don't hunch. Yeah, when they are not getting the movement, I physically... And this kind of touch from a lady guru is fine.
Okay.
From a man, maybe it's not okay. Although my gurus, Krishna sir, Chandamma, Kelucharan, they all did that. But then the touch was a guru touch. There was no sexuality in that. So you understand what flows through your body, what flows through your hand, that says a lot. Your aura says a lot. What you are conveying through the vibrations says a lot. And children recognize it. You are, the other day kya, kal ki baat hai, yesterday only, in my general class, I had to really and when the others couldn't help, because they all, even my senior students, I got up and told her, keep, no. 100 times I've told you, now it's 101st time, so I'm coming. Guruji, chalo, come on, straighten up. Bharatanatyam, you can't have your elbows drooping, and the Bandhan allure is you show this, front, elbows up, not the shoulders up. So if you are learning for 5 years, 6 years, how can you not do it? How can you allow yourself to go? No way.
Amazing.
And later on, they say, Guruji, my God, abhi ek Reema Khanna has come back to me after some years. And she says, Guruji used to be so much stricter.
Okay. But you take that as a compliment, I'm sure, about the strict and being strict, because that's necessary, right? Without the discipline, the art form doesn't come. Right?
Swati bhi se, her daughter Devika bhi se, Hollywood films mein kaam kiya wo. She says that learning from you is like having 2 PhDs from Harvard.
Okay.
How you manage your time, your body, your everything. And the common sense. You use your common sense also. Dance teaches you all that. It makes you absolutely 200% fit for life.
Fit. Let me talk about the fitness. Mental and physical fitness. What do you do for both?
And emotional fitness. I'm depressed. I hear that. I say, get more depressed. Get out. No, what I do. I don't have to do anything. I'm just into life, as I said. I love laughing. You've seen I love laughter. I love jokes. I love puns. I love wit and humor. I love to read.
Food? I believe you're a fabulous cook.
I love food, cheese and chocolates and ice cream. And I've often said, I don't trust people who don't like chocolate.
Okay, so every rasa you have to experience, right? The food is part of that too.
travel, see museums, see performances, meet with people, discuss, shout, jump, whatever. But don't allow kachra to collect within you.
Okay. How do you sift that out? How do you the stresses of a life of where I'm sure you've had unwanted attention coming your way because you've been on stage, you're a
Don't ask me for
performer.
names, I'm not going to reveal.
Okay, just wanted to know how you deal with it, how you dealt with it. How did that happen? Because there are many people who think they come close to actresses, they come close to dancers, they come. There's a tendency to be close, physically close, and then misuse that physical closeness. How did you deal with it?
By being strict and to let people know where they get off. And therefore to be called, as I said, arrogant, difficult, temperamental, and I always said, so be it. It's a compliment. But unless I allow, nobody can cross my Lakshman Rekha. I've held that. I've held on to that for years, even when I was 18 and 20 and all. Vulnerable.
So I want to ask you about, we touched upon this thing about your Padma Award and Mr. Venkatraman as president. I believe something happened at that stage
Huh.
in your life. Tell me about that incident.
He was also vice president before becoming president. And before that, he was also defense minister and finance minister coming from Tamil Nadu. And he had seen me in Tamil Nadu, he had seen me in Delhi. He was very fond of me. He was very fond of artists. But when he went to Rashtrapati Bhavan, he said to me that now I'm in a golden cage. I can't, go to performances, see. So can you do something here? Rashtrapati Bhavan, the old one. So there is a cinema hall, chota sa, in the basement. So Gopal Gandhi was his joint secretary then. And we went and put some curtains and put some lights. So the first performance there was mine.
Okay.
So every couple of months he used to call for me and say, "Kya ho raha hai? What's happening? Tell me. What's Kapila doing nowadays? What's this so and so?"
Kapila Vatsan.
And one day he called Gopal Gandhi and said, "Boss wants to see you." I've just been there. No. And you bring your biodata. I said, "What? I don't have a biodata." Make one. So I got some 1.5 page typed out. Kale Komudi, Kala something, blah, 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 blah. And Sangeet Natak Akademi Award in 87. And Guru's names and all that. And I went. I took a taxi and went. I saw Najma Heptullah coming out. And at 4 o'clock sharp on his first floor, private seating. And then, come in. And then Imrati and Lovely Vada and all that came and chatting. So I said, "Sir, I've just been." No, you tell. No, bring. I said, "Sir, no, didn't Gopal tell you? Where's your biodata?" So I said, "Sir, it's very embarrassing you." So I took it out of my batua. I always use batuas and gave it to him. 1.5 page. He says, "You forgot your Padma Award. Where is it? I said, "Sir, if I didn't get it, how can I?" He looked at me and then he said, "I will rectify this national mistake." Exact words. I just stood up, tears. President of India saying that. I came back home and wrote it in my diary. I used to write a lot of diary. And then I believe that they had written Padma Shri. He cut it out and he put Padma Bhushan. That's what Gopal told me with his own hands.
And your contemporaries had all got their Padmas by then?
70s mein.
Huh. Who all? Yamini Krishnamurti?
हाँ यामिनी जी पहले यामिनी पद्मा सुब्रमण्यम
Padma Subramaniam.
संयुक्ता पाणिग्रही उमा शर्मा
Huh. Shobhana
But even
Narayan.
the
No, not
younger
yet.
Shovna, even younger dancers like Valli and
Alarme
Malvika,
Valli.
Leela Samson,
Leela Samson also.
they all got their Padma Shris during 80s and
Huh.
90s. And
And you hadn't got, you didn't even ask for it at any
no,
stage.
I was Sushri.
Okay. Huh. The other thing that, you mentioned Kapila Vatsan, I think she was also the same time as Pupul Jayakar and all with Mrs. Gandhi, or no?
No, she couldn't take Pupul Jayakar's place ever.
Why?
They were different personalities. Pupul had a grandeur about her.
Hmm.
She was, Kapila remained, I remember Prem Kirpal, a wonderful, wonderful person. He was, there was education and culture, two ministries. So he was the, whatever of education. And he brought young Kapila there as a protege. And later on she became what, academic advisor or not, whatever, education advisor. She, till her last, remained a government. Pupul never had a government post. So at one time they were saying that Kapila had almost 70. She was either chairman, vice chairman, president, member, advisor to all these committees. Everywhere it was Kapila, either. So she was, always carrying files and
She was also Indira Gandhi Center of Arts, if I'm not mistaken. She was heading
she
that.
created it
Created it.
to get Rajiv Gandhi's
Huh.
attention. And she took it, and in one day it was all done, and 100 crore. Manmohan Singh was later when he was finance minister, and for 8 buildings, something like the Kennedy and the Lincoln Center, 3
Yeah.
auditoriums and all that.
But it never happened.
It never happened.
But it never did, right?
It never did, but it resulted in a monolithic structure between Janpat and Man Singh Road, 24 acres, prime land. And this structure had huge corridors like the Red Fort in Agra, and huge pillars, red sandstone, and a little seminar room for 18, another one for 40. Cubby holes everywhere. And when NDA-1 came, before that, let me quickly tell you that when her superannuation was also over, she created a new file and changed the entire constitution, put it on his head. She took the file to Madhav Scindia, who was HRD minister, got it signed in one day, and came back. So she became academic advisor for life. 6, Sonia Gandhi, I think Professor Yashpal, Venkatraman, Narasimha Rao, 2 others, I forget who. They became things executive for life. Everything was for life. And so many other things were there. So when NDA-1 came, and there were all these hundreds of employees who were barring her entry into, because they had not been made permanent even after 10 years. A lot of gafla going on. So Murli Manohar Joshi ordered, they went to court, these workers.
He was HRD minister or something.
And then, but these people from IGNCA went to High Court. High Court ordered an inquiry. And that's how the Pandora's box opened. And that's how the committee found that the original constitution had been completely negated. And that has to be brought back. And that created a lot of stink. And then they had to go.
Tell me about this incident about your stint at the Sangeet Natak Akademi. What happened there? Tell me. Tell me about that.
Oh,
part.
dear. Yeah, well, I was appointed Chairman Sangeet Natak Academy on 18 December 2003. And the UPA government came in April 2004. And then there was a witch hunt immediately. And Mainstream, you remember the...
the magazine.
So Harkishan Singh Surjit was the editor, Secretary General of CPI, CPM, and with their support only they formed the government, UPA won. And so they put a list of names. That was about 8 or 9 names. My name was there. Professor Narang, President of Sahitya Akademi. Dr. L.M. Singhvi, Abhishek Manu's father, as President IGNCA. And they had to be immediately removed. And then there was a witch hunt after me. Then Jaipal Reddy and shadow boxing. And I said, why are you doing all this? But so I stuck on. Then our APJ Abdul Kalam, president, called me because he appoints, no? President appoints. He was very happy while he appointed me. And then he said, Sonalji, I'm very sorry, but you know what happens when the third time file comes back from Prime Minister? President has to sign it. So I said, sir, please go ahead and sign. He said, are you sure you don't want to resign? I said, why should I resign, sir? Because that will be a wrong precedent. I've not done anything wrong. You know that. He said, okay, I respect you. He gave me coffee, all that. And then that government notification, again, his principal secretary told me that he cut it out, removed, and he said replaced. I was replaced by Ram Nivas Mirtha.
But you were actually sacked.
Yeah.
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 Why? Because
I was Sangeet, I was Saffron. I went for Vivekananda centenary to Washington to dance, along with Hari Prasad Chaurasia and Anup Jalota. And because they thought that I was... NDA appointed me. That was the biggest no.
Okay, so all the NDA appointees had to be taken off by the UPA.
Yeah.
So, when people talk about witch hunt, I want these stories don't come out, that there was a witch hunt then too.
But for the first time, there was such cruel interference in the field of culture. Never before.
Okay.
And Girish Karnad also protested, wrote about it. Others all kept quiet. But he said, even during his tenure as chairman, Sangeet Natak, the government had changed. But he said there was never a question. Kamala Devi ji, she came Janta government chairman, Sangeet Natak. And then immediately Indira Gandhi came.
Kamala Devi Chattopadhyay.
But nobody dared to do that.
Yeah. Okay. There was a period when people said, "Hum award wapas kar rahe hain because we don't feel safe in this country anymore." At different points of time, there have been thekedars of culture, as they say, putting it in quotes. So, tell me about your experience. You've seen various prime ministers from Indira Gandhi's time, or even before that, and to the current dispensation where the BJP is in power. Tell me, at any point of time, did you feel that you were accused of moving towards a certain culture which they thought was wrong?
Yeah.
क्या हुआ था? एक या दो incidents हमें बताएं.
Yeah, in 1993, the centenary of Vivekananda having gone to Chicago, World Parliament of Religions. Well, that was being celebrated in 1993, not in Chicago, but in Washington, D.C. And Vajpayee ji was then leader of opposition or something. And very good friends since 79, when in Morarji Desai's cabinet, he had been, 78, he had been the foreign minister.
Okay.
So he came home to my rented apartment in Defense Colony then, and he said, I want you to go. And there's ye log ja rahe hain. And when I suggested your name, somebody said, but dance, and so... I said, yeah, Atalji, then how, why? He said, no. I think you have to go. It will be very good for everyone. I was very, very, happy. And then, of course, the letter of invitation came. I didn't even bother to see, or if I it didn't register. It was from the Vishwa Hindu Parishad. like any other organization. At that time in 93, I had no inkling of all that. And the tickets came for my musicians, and they went for the visa. And 2 days they stood in the queue. And on the third day, I personally went. They were standing in the queue, and I went to the window and said, so they said, no. But why did you not tell us on the first day that they are not getting the visa? And within, I think, 1.5 days, we were to leave. I had my 5-year visa then. So give me the passports back. And I sent them all home. With all this, I went directly without telephoning. There were mobile phones or not at that time, I don't
93, I
remember.
think. No, Narasimha Rao was the Prime Minister. I don't think they had come in as
No.
yet or whatever.
I went straight to South Block, to J.B. Dikshit, Mani Dikshit, who was Foreign Secretary. From gate number 4, which is total out of bounds, everything. I went to him, and I was in tears, and I had severe cold out of tension and all that. He said, what happened? I told him. First he gave me, I have to say that. He took out cognac, called for hot water, gave me, drink it. And then I told him all that. He says, this is impossible. How can they deny? He says, ambassador se baat karao. Because that window fellow said, we have instruction from the higher-ups. And in front of me spoke, ambassador was apparently on home leave. So there was a charge there. And he said, but we have not given any instruction. And apparently that fellow said, but your government, and who in government? So it appeared to be Arjun Singh, who was HRD minister then. And Mani was red with rage. He said, how can you do that? We have not, And then he told me, look, I'll sort it out later. I'll have to deal with that. Do you have recorded music? At that time we had, that spool. You go. I went. Now, as this invitation thing came out that Hariprasad Chaurasia, Anup Jalota, Anuradha Podwal and Sonal Mansingh are going, Shatrughan Sen are going as MC. They didn't bother with the 3 musicians. I was considered, because among my friends, I had Madhu Lemay, Madhu Dandavate. Much before that, Muraji Kaka was like a family friend. And Hegde came much later. And all these CPM fellows, I knew everyone. At that time, it was so friendly. S.M. Banerjee used to be a big MP of CPI. CPM was not that prominent in 70s and 80s. Anyway, so I started getting funny phone calls. I got anonymous letters. And finally, and then of course Sabina Sehgal, S. Kalidas, Praful Bidwai, all these people were writing articles about me.
Saying?
Sanghi ban gayi, Saffron. What's happened to her? We thought she was sensible. I didn't understand. But then I was summoned to Mavlankar Hall, and then I danced for Sahmat at the very opening. College Road.
Sabdarajmi,
And then gone with them on the rickety bus to Aligarh. 100 days curfew. And that same collector in Jiske Ghar ke Samne, that Maidan, that's where we performed. He met me recently somewhere, old man. He says, you won't remember, ma'am, but you had come and you had performed. I was the collector. And so, I was summoned. You better come. Otherwise, we'll come home and pick you up physically. I said, I'll come. I took a black and yellow taxi. Mavlankar Hall, Kuldeep Nair is really the chairperson, alone sitting on a chair on the straight desk. Oh, aage, she's come. And full hall. CPI, CPM, Sahmat, JNU. The professor, I forget his name, Bhavani, somebody. and Shabana Azmi, Kaifi Azmi, Swami Agnivesh, and all that. And Kuldeep said, we've been waiting for you. Come and we are all very agitated. वगैरह. So I went and spoke in Hindi. कि मुझे निमंत्रण आया तो मैं जा रही हूँ, ये लोग भी जा रहे हैं, हम तो कलाकार हैं. And I came down and people said, no, we want. Kuldeep said, तो मैंने कहा आप अंग्रेजी हिंदी नहीं समझते हो तो अंग्रेजी में आके बोल देती हूँ. So again I countered them. Swami Agnivesh says, had you accepted Hitler's invitation to go and dance? I said, certainly yes. I would have gone and changed his heart. And people clapped. And then this, I think, सहमत में से कोई बोला, but we thought you are with us. हमने तो सोचा था आप तो हमारे साथ
With us.
तो मैं सबके साथ हूँ. जो कलाकार को बुलाता है मैं वहाँ जाती हूँ. And then I said, I've said enough, I've spoken enough. I don't want to. वैष्णव जन में आके पेट से सुन के मैं बाहर निकली हूँ. I'm an Indian, I'm an artist. That's all I can say. And I walked out. 100-150 लोग मेरे पीछे आ गए. And they were shouting and all that. How can we allow you to? I said, I went. And then, of course, I was shunned like anything. Well, who cares?
But when you meet with Shabana Azmi or Javed Akhtar after that, you must have met Kuldeep Nayyar after that.
Oh! From there, I went straight to Madhulemay, B11 Pandara Road. He was Secretary General of earlier, no? And Madhuji and I were great friends.
Yeah, I would think that he was a mild-mannered person, right?
He was a scholar.
Huh.
And so was his wife Champa, Sanskrit professor in Bombay University. And she used to say, Madhu, एक तुझी friend आली है. वो थी वहाँ पे मराठी में. And I went and said, Madhu ji, he says, क्या हुआ? He had a foghorn voice. क्या हुआ? तुम बहुत वो लग रही हो. मैंने कहा, मधु जी आप सुनो. And I told him. I says, Kuldeep Nayyar and all. Kuldeep Nayyar phoned just then, that Gharghar phone, and said, he was complaining about me. Ke Madhu, I know she's your very good friend. She's done this and she said that and she's going there. मेरी कान में है, मधु जी said, कुलदीप तुमको पागल कुत्ते ने काटा है क्या? I couldn't stop laughing. Later on, when I met Kuldeep somewhere, I said, Kuldeep, you remember what Madhuji told you when you complained about me? He said, no, did I? I said, no.
So ये intolerance towards these organizations पहले से था. It's not something which is new or anything like that. It's not Modi who's done it.
अरे बाबा मोदी जी तो अभी आए. We all feel very. It's not only funny, it's a joke. You agree with me, you are fine. You disagree with me, you are a no-no. But who the hell are you? Why should you think you are God?
You're a victim of cancel culture, जो आज ये term बना है. You're a victim of cancel culture from the 70s onwards.
But darling, I cancel them all.
You cancel. That's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, you deal with it that way.
Yeah.
There was another incident in your life when you met your soon-to-be second husband. There was a story that there was an intervention then too.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah.
Tell us what happened then.
I believe that she called the German ambassador. I forget, a dealer, I think, and told him to remove Leshner from Delhi.
Why would she want to interfere in your private life? What was that going to happen?
Maybe the foreign service angle. Maybe some Lalit's friends went to her. I don't know.
But you had already divorced Lalit, right? By then, Lalit Man Singh? Not yet.
Yeah.
That marriage had
I mean,
ended.
we were in court for at that time they used to give you 1 year.
Okay.
To reconsider.
It wasn't easy to get a divorce also.
So it might have been very embarrassing.
Okay. Who was the foreign secretary at that time, I wonder?
नहीं याद नहीं है.
याद नहीं आ रहा. But you were fighting an establishment. You've done that in many parts of your life, right?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes.
The angry young lady?
No.
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 It just happened.
It happens. And you take it in your stride.
Huh.
And you continue doing what you do.
Okay. Tell me about that incident in your Curzon Road apartment house.
Cousin Road apartment was D707 allotted to Lalit.
Hmm.
And when he went to Kabul and was, I
Huh.
was there and I was dancing, I was touring. And then I was going on a tour abroad. One of the friends said, I said, I don't want to just lock it up because somebody should come and have it cleaned up and all. So I left the keys. And when I came back, I saw big notices there, and that fellow had been sort of, using it, misusing it.
As a, I'm going to let you say it, for unsavory activities.
Savory for some, unsavory for me.
So what happened then? You were asked to leave the apartment?
I was asked to leave the apartment. I was asked to pay penalty rent, this rent, that rent, that rent. And then I was desperate and I went to, of course, I couldn't go in there.
Huh.
Picked up my things, where to go
Huh.
and how to pay this money.
Huh.
Some thousands. And then I forget who I called, and they gave me the name of Raj Gopal, who was OSD to Uma Shankar Dikshit, who was then the housing minister. I called him.
Sheila
and he took my
Dikshit's
call.
father-in-law.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so he said, okay, you come and meet. And he immediately fixed up the appointment next morning. I went and I met Dikshit ji. And then he says, I'll take care of everything. You come. And then he said, where will you go? In his office. I don't know. I mean, I may go to ISC for a few days. I don't know. I don't even. Itna paisa nahi mere paas. So he said, wait. He called up his wife, Maithili. It was C248 Shahjahan Road. He said, Maithili, I'm sending someone, huh? You must have heard of, we have seen her performance also. And she will stay with us. I said, you go there. I lived in their apartment for 3-4 years.
Really?
I'm getting choked because, I've received such love, affection, respect and help. I cannot tell you. Otherwise, how do you think I've lived alone in Delhi for all these decades?
Yeah.
I have full faith in humanity. I'm telling you, things have happened, but greater, beautiful things have happened.
Who are the other people, Sonalji? I know I've seen you I met you several times in L.K. Advani's house.
Advani ji, yeah, Dada.
Yeah. Who are the other people who you felt that just when life was getting difficult, they held your hand and helped you in your path in life?
So many. So many. You won't even know them. But including my Karnataka singer, Kamakshi Kupuswamy. And her husband, section officer in some ministry. And this INA market, Lakshmi Bai Nagar. There was 4 daughters and we shared. वो 2 छोटा bedroom होता है ना, and 1 living room, and very, very, I stayed with them with my 2 suitcases under the charpoy. I stayed with Ram Dhamija. I stayed with John Lal. Who, remember Arthur Lal? John Lal used to be Diwan of Sikkim before integration, and then director of IIC for many, ICS. They accommodated me. So I was homeless, I was shifting from, but surprisingly, without the mobile phone and email ID and all that, organizers found me. I had continuous programs. Would anyone believe that today?
Where do you like performing the most? Which city in the world?
Oh, like that, I don't know. I think Delhi, Bangalore, Madras, earlier Kolkata, earlier. And of course Bombay, earlier Bombay, not Mumbai. Mumbai. Because I'm so used to that.
Bombay. Yeah, so am I.
Bhopal,
And I get criticized.
Bhopal.
Bhopal, okay. Music.
Jaipur.
Yeah.
Jaipur.
Because why? Is it the audience that matters? Is it, they
Yeah,
come?
of course. Audience
Hmm.
is the
Hmm.
the last word.
Hmm.
You have beautiful auditorium, but not a good audience. What good is that?
Because these now you have people, foreigners who come in and they perform and they say India doesn't have the right auditoriums. But I'm sure you've performed जहाँ पे sound बिल्कुल बेकार था, जहाँ पे leaking roof होता है.
Now that will be another book. Performing in villages, in village melas. Performing on kankad patthar, on cement, on stone floors, on marble floors, on wooden floors with things coming out, lacerated feet, a trail of blood on stage.
Okay.
Darling, we have performed, we are soldiers, I always say. Come what may, this is what I tell all my students. Audience doesn't want to know anything. That you have a stomach ache, you have menstrual period, you have a headache, or the stage is bad. They don't want to, they want to see. And you give it. And I've given it all my life. So I know. You don't complain. No dressing room. The musicians are holding shawl.
Yes.
No washroom. Going by train, catching flights, catching trains, catching, buses. First Chitrakoot Mela to Allahabad then, from there in this rickety public bus. And I've gone and my musicians, we have danced there. Teen Chitrakoot, the first one was with me. I opened the Ellora Festival, the Mahabalipuram Festival, the Elephanta Festival, the Konark Festival. You name them, now they've become,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in these festivals, people would come to watch classical dance. But when you go to a mela and things like
Also
that,
Khajuraho, by the way.
Khajuraho. So these are places where classical musicians are performing, and the audience is coming with that in mind. But if you're performing, say, at a Rotary Club or a Lions Club, or you're performing in a mela, there's more that entertainment aspect to it. Rasa is different, isn't it?
What you present, how you present, that matters. Rotary Club, Village Mela, doesn't matter. It's up to the artist, how you draw them in. College, university, rowdy crowds. And I was always sent in first. Sunil ji jaake sabko, then we'll go.
Okay.
So I think it's much more than even just performance.
Huh.
It is the entire package
Huh.
of selection of items. I used to, on stage, change my item and announce something different. The musicians immediately, so they got used to it.
But you also sing at times and you explain, you do.
Ab Natya Katha. I'm
Natya
doing
Katha.
Natya Katha since 2009. I always made commentary, that I learned from my Krishna Rao sir in Chandamma. And then somebody said, we want you to give a bhajan sandhya, you sing so well. I said, call Anup Jalota. I don't do bhajan sandhya. No, you do. Anyway, so I said, I'll do Natya Katha. And Natya Katha started in 2009 with Krishna. And it is where I speak, I give narratives, I give my own thing, I sing, I do abhinaya. My musicians are there.
So it's Natya and Nritya together.
Yeah, Natya and Katha.
What is the difference between Natya and Nritya?
Nritya is what you say Bharatanatyam. Natya is Kuchipudi, Kathakali. There's a dramatic element that is more powerful. And Natya, Sangeeta, Geetam, Vadyam, Nrityam cha. यानी संगीत को जो कहते हैं गीतम वाद्यम नृत्यम, दैट संगीत, and that becomes natya.
Okay.
That natya is an entire way of presenting a story, episode, a character, an idea. Whereas nritya is a little more limited. Natya is...
Okay. You found audiences more receptive to your...
Yeah, they are very receptive. And by the way, I'm very proud also that to date, No other dancer or musician does that. It comes naturally to me because I've always loved sharing stories and talking about
So you do Hindi and English together?
Hindi, English, Gujarati, Odia.
Yeah, you can speak all these languages.
I've done all that. Odisha mein bhi kiya hai.
Okay.
And now I have a 6 Katha tour in Gujarat in February.
Lovely. Okay. All your pieces, should I say, or all your interactions, all your work is in is spiritual, religious in nature. If there is an atheist among classical dancers, can they emote? Can they do the same art without believing in, say, idols, or believing in idol is a wrong word. Believing in
Divinity.
Divinity.
Divinity is all-encompassing expression. They can learn their technique, of course they can. But if you see the two together, the one who believes and one who doesn't, and then you can experience.
Show me how, with your expressions, with your abhinaya, how would a non-believer show bhakti and how would a believer show?
Darling, how can I show it when I'm not a non-believer?
If you have, how would it be just surface and how would it be something that comes from within?
Hey, you are really putting me in a big situation.
Show me a surface expression of bhakti and show me what it comes from inside. If you were to...
I should get on here and dance.
You, even while sitting, you can do. I know it.
No, simplest is,
Let me just give you Krishnani Vegane Baro. How would you do Krishnani Vegane Baro if you were somebody who didn't believe that a god like Krishna existed? How will you call Krishna? And how would you call Krishna if you believe you're a Yashoda, Maya, and calling Krishna?
Don't blame me if I'm not able to give full justice to the non-believer.
Yeah. You and I are on the same page on that one. So, but yeah, show me how you would do that. Singing.
I think the simplest, of course, would be that you show Krishna. Krishna ni begane baro. Come running, come quickly. Krishna ni begane baro.
Lovely.
Hmm?
Yeah.
And when I saw Bala, I saw Krishna also.
Yeah.
That a lot of people have experienced that.
Yeah.
Right?
I understand that. There are some dancers when they are calling. I've seen audiences look. Is there somebody, that they are calling out to?
Yeah.
But yeah.
But like my again Chandama used to say, Chandabhaga Devi, that why do dancers have to run like headless chicken in every direction? Great wit.
But it's true, no? Like say, even Padma Subramaniam, she doesn't perform all that much. But when she would do a Kanakadasa, bhajan, or when she would do a Meera, there's a...
Oh, you have to see my Meera.
Do me one.
I'll invite you.
Show me one bhava of Meera.
No, one in the sense that...
where does Shringara end and where does Bhakti begin in Meera?
No. They are intermingled. You can't separate them. No. It's like milk and sugar. You can't separate them. And this is the speciality, the special flavor of our dance and our way of dealing with life. Life is all about Shringar, it's all about beauty, it's all about bhakti, it's all about grandeur of life. And if you don't feel it, if you feel it, that's bhakti. If you don't feel it, that is what? Nothing. So if Meera was saying, Eri main to prem divani, mero darad na jane koi. What was that darad? That darad was viraha, that darad was seeking, darad was yearning, pining. And I'm so moved to tears. She says, Suli upar sej hamari. Sej is my bed. It's on a suli. On a, so what do you call suli? The spike.
Huh.
The samsar is like that spike. But my bed is on that. I'm in samsar. Suli upar sej hamari. Kis abidha sovan hoy. How can I sleep on that? गगन मंडल में सेज पिया की, whereas the bed of my darling is all in heaven, gagan mandal, in the antariksh, in the space. Kis abidha mid no hoy. How shall we meet? How shall I meet him? This is, and then she says, Darad ki mari ban ban dolu. I'm going round in jungles and forests and everywhere because of my pida. I cannot bear it. Darad ki mari ban ban dolu. Baid na miliya koi. I didn't find any doctor. Baid. Meera ke Prabhu. Pida mite jab. Only when my sorrows, my pida will go. Jab Baid Savariyo hoy. When the Baid himself is Krishna, my Savariya, then all my pida will go.
In today's age, people will think that's politically incorrect. You're married to somebody else and you're pining for another person, another man.
That's happening everywhere. But this pining is for who? Pining for another man and pining for a divinity, for something for which sadhus and sannyasis and yogis and people are for ages and for millennia are doing tapasya.
What was her husband's fault?
No, he died, no?
But what was his fault? That
No,
he
no,
married a woman
he
who's not...
he even built a temple for Meera.
He did.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's married to a woman who's given her body, soul and mind to...
He didn't mind. So I would say that he was great.
But he did, no? Vish ka pyala piya na unhone.
Nee, that was Devar. That was a brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law.
The husband died, I think, within a year or something very close in a battle. And then the brother-in-law came on.
There's a lot of rewriting of epics and of... अब मैं mythology बोलूँगी तो फिर लोग नाराज हो जाएंगे.
Don't use that word mythology.
If I was to talk about
Puran.
If I was to talk about even Draupadi, now everybody is writing from Chitra Divakaruni to everybody is writing about Draupadi, the war through her eyes, being married to 5 men. With whom does your true love lie? How can you be absolutely even in being a wife to 5 men? So there are so many aspects to it. And her Sakha, Krishna, another one. So how would you interpret it? You have interpreted it.
Yes. I think, all this is very good as a, modern take on all these characters and situations, and we feel we are very intelligent. You're full of beans. Was it right? Was it wrong? So first of all, I find it very funny. But, having said so, Draupadi is not a woman like you and me born out of a womb. She's born out of fire. And she's born for a purpose. You earlier asked me if I, my purpose of whatever, and dance. She came with a mission. She is Prakriti. Prakriti, nature, but Prakriti is a much larger word. Her name Draupadi, her father Drupad, Dru means Druma, trees, Pada means land mass. Drupad, she's Draupadi, she's nature. She's born of Yajna, Yagyaseni. She's Krishna, dark, as blue lotus, as Krishna is. She's Krishna. Panchali, princess of Panchal. And Mahabharati, the title I like. The great Indian woman. Now, you and I may not be able to have 5 husbands at the same time, or maybe we can, I don't know. It depends on your capability and also the men, the husbands' understanding. Here they were tied by a common mission by the mother, by the tradition, and by the words of Vedavyas, and she became the common wife. But they all had individual wives too. It was not that Draupadi was the only one.
Yes.
But Draupadi was special. She was the one who enjoyed the full rights of being the Maharani. And how she looked after the state, how she looked after the treasury, how she looked after each brother's needs, the mother-in-law, the relatives, everything. If you read that in Mahabharata, your eyes will pop. Extraordinary is not the word. We have people, we say, Ashtabhuja Durga. She works like that. She manages this, that. Draupadi to kaun hai? And yet she suffered like you and me. Yet she had to go through situations. Yet she had to accept certain things that she didn't want to. So it's a complete package, I would call it. A complete package.
Does she interest you as an artist more than a linear person like, say, a Mirabai? In depicting?
No. They are different. They are different. I fortunately have never had that propensity to compare and contrast. Meera to Meera hai. Ab Meera kya hai? To she went to Dwarka at the end of her life. I'm going to, by the way, do Katha in Dwarka also. My Meera Katha. And at the end, she merged in Dwarkadhish. Only the garland was there. This is not Puran. This is now 500.
The same as Sita merged with the earth.
Sita was the daughter of earth.
So she merges at the end of it.
Haan.
So that is how it ends, in trauma, no? In some way.
For Sita, a trauma. For Meera, not a trauma. For Meera, it was just the ultimate point. And did she know she was going to merge? No. She just walked towards him. Lost.
Which is that one person, that one character from our Purans that you feel, I still need to explore this?
Quite a few.
Okay.
Quite a few. Yeah. Radha.
She's been done so by... I've seen you performing Radha.
No, that's Radha from the Geet Govind. That is Radha from... And the beauty is that I have my own Radha, I have my own Krishna, I have my own Meera. Independence of expression and thought. If it exists, you want to see it, it is in our arts.
It's more than Jayadev's Geet Govinda Radha. It's more than
Jayadev to bahut baat ki baat hai na. Brahma Vaivarta Puran. And so many other texts.
So you want to explore that too?
Yeah, Radha is a Vrishbhanu's daughter. Vrishbhanu is a real man. So here we are, you're always playing with the real and the imaginary or the image. We are always playing. And that is another beauty that you can't really explain in words. Sonal kaun hai? The one who's sitting right now in front of you? Or is she dancer? Is she this? Is she that? Is she that? What is she?
What is she? Tell me.
You tell me.
After speaking to you, I'm confused now after this interaction. But I hope our viewers get a window into the artist that is you. And if they haven't been fortunate enough, like I have been, to see you on stage, they will make the effort to get to the festivals where you are performing and watch you on stage, because that's a mesmerizing experience.
I would really say Natya Katha Meri Dekho.
Okay.
I'm going to invite you.
Absolutely.
And
I'd be honored.
Request you to invite your friends and all.
I'd be honored. Thank you, Sonalji, so much. I'm most grateful that you found the time to sit across and talk to me about so much of your life.
Absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure, privilege. And may Bhagavati Kamakhya bless you always.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for watching or listening to this edition of the ANI podcast with Smita Prakash. Do like or subscribe on whichever channel you have seen this or heard this. Namaste. Jai Hind. Click here to watch the previous episodes.